What's up, good people? It's me again, Tunji from Ceasar Graphix. This is what we're going to be doing today, and I pray you're going to enjoy it and you're going to learn something from this. Without any further ado, let's jump into today's tutorial. So let's start by creating a new document. So I'm going to click on File, select New. So I'm going to give my width 1080 by 1350. Can leave the sizes 200. So I'll call this giant. So I'm going to be dragging in my first image, which is this. I'll drag and drop like so, and I'm going to scale this real big. I'll position this somewhere here. Actually, it's looking too big. Cloud. So I'll drag this and drop so, and I'll scale this big. Hit enter. So I'm gonna add down vector mask, and I'll select the gradient to vector mask again, and I'll drag down. Yep. So I'm going to scale, and I'm going to scale this real big. Alright, so I need to blend out. I need to make this image look the same as the cloud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a solid color, a gray solid color. So I'll hit 80. I'm sure some of you might have seen me do this in my previous tutorial. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'll change this to luminosity. Now if you look at it now, you see the shade of blue we have here is different from what I have here. So we need to make this look the same as this. Alright, so I'm going to make this red purplish feel here to look like this side here, and then the green color here should look like this blue. So I'm going to now select the Lagos layer again, and I'll go to adjustment and click the hue adjustment, and I'll add the add adjustment effects button, and I'll select red. I'll start with red, and I'll push this down. Alright, so let's see what we have. Okay, you see now it's looking as if they are one family already. So I'm going to hide this, and can just do some little tweaking. So let's put this back. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, so let's go red. I'm just gonna go red. Just add a little bit of red. Nope. Okay, I think this is fine for me. and I'm going to just reduce the opacity because I don't want the color to fade away. Oh, beautiful. This is perfect. So if this is the before and this is the after, so we need to increase the brightness just a little. So I'm going to select curve and just push it out just a little bit, just like so. All right, yeah, I think this is fine. So let's bring in our next image. So I'm going to drag in the picture of the baby, and I'm going to scale this really down. All right, and I'll position it here, scale it big just a little bit, position this somewhere here. Okay, now that's it. So I am going to add a vector max again, and this time I'll select brush. I'll make sure my brush is set to hard brush. Alright, and I'll just clear out the part I don't want visible. I'm just going to right click on layer and say rasterize, and I am going to select the healing brush. Alright, I'm going to select this spot healing brush, and I'm just going to clean off that part. Yep, and that's it. So I'll convert this back to smart object. Alright, and I'm going to go to the adjustment panel again. I need to push this up, and I'll choose hue. I only wanted to touch this layer, so I'm going to push this down just to reduce the strength of the yellow on the image. Alright, and we need to make this dark just a little bit, make this visible again, and I push this up. Alright, if I change this to color, you'll notice that the picture of the baby is looking too bright for the background, so we need to darken this a little bit. So I'm going to go to a curve adjustment, and I'm going to zoom in. Alright, so I'm going to push this up so I can see my curve adjustment clearly. So now I'm going to click on this, and this side should go down just a little bit. Now I want to apply it to just only the picture of the baby, and sorry, I'm gonna delete this. I'll start again. So push this down just like so, and this side, I'm actually using this side, this field right here, as a reference. So I'm gonna push this up just like so. Alright, just to do that. Okay, so let's hide this now, and now you see the baby's picture is looking like the way I want it to look, but I noticed that the color is now visible again. So I'm going to go back here and push this down just a little bit more. Alright, just a little bit more. I'm going to reduce this. Okay, and yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add the shadow of the baby on the water. So to do that, I'm going to hold down Control and click the layer of the baby, the thumbnail of the baby's layer, and I'll position my I'll select this layer so as to create the layer above it. So I'm going to click on this now, and I'll double click to call this baby shadow. Alright, now I need to clean my layer panel. So I'm going to select the first layer that I want in the group to the last, and I'll hit shift click. So I'll call this BG, meaning BG. So this is BG means background, and I'll select this layer now, make sure this is set to black. All right, and I'll fill it with black by hitting Alt and backspace, and I'll hit Command D to deselect the marquee, and I'll go to filter, blur, then a little bit just like so, and yeah, so I'm going to bring out the transform adjustment, which is Command T, and I right click, I'll rotate it this way, and I'll flip it. I'll push this way. I need to push this up. I'll hold on Shift and push it up. And I'll position this here, and change this back to transform. Push this in, push this up, just like so. Make sure this is set to soft round brush. Increase the size of the brush and just, you know, brush some part of the image. Just I'm going to add more shadow, sorry, so I'm just going to, you know, adjust a little bit of shadow like that. So I'm going to go back and select brush and just, you know, because I want it to look as if there's the shadow of this hand somewhere around here. All right, so still on brush, I'll just brush here. All right, now select filter, start and people. Okay, I think it's soft light that I use. Yeah, it's soft light. So I'm gonna make a copy of it again, and then I'll select the brush tool, and I'll just, excuse me, just gonna hit X and then just take out. So I think I have to blow this just a little bit more. Then one other thing I want to do is I'm going to create a layer in here, and so the brush again, but make sure my brush is to hard brush, because I actually want to look as if some part of the water is like some part of the water touch the body of the baby. So I'm going to just use a hard brush, and I'll brush just like so. Yep. Now change this to multiply, and I'll reduce the opacity like this. Then do it like, leave it like that. Maybe I should even add more, like this. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is to add the wave effects. So I'm going to create a layer, a new document, and I'll give this 700, or maybe let's just say 600. I don't want something too big, by 600. All right, then I'll hit create, and I'll fill this with black. Or you know what, let's create a new layer. So I'm gonna create a new layer and fill it with black, and I'll go to filter, render clouds. All right, that's fine. To this dots zigzag. All right, and yeah, so I'm just going to move it like this. Good. Then I'm going to move this to my artwork, and this should be Ctrl T, and I'll hold on Shift, push this down, and this should be here, and I'm going to stretch it. Excuse me. I'm going to move this back just like so, and I'll change my bend mode to soft light. Well, let's see what overlay is going to give us. Let's say soft light overlay. Soft light is fine, and I'm just going to position this here, and I'll Command T, and I'll push this up just a little bit. All right, let's see what overlay is going to look like. I think the overlay is too strong, so I'm going to add the a vector max again, and I'll hit brush, but this time my brush should be soft round brush. All right, so my foreground color should be black. Real by going to filter, and I'll select, go to filter, that's not part of the plan, filter, and I'll select liquid, and this is the one we're going to work with right now. And I'll reduce the size, and I'll push this back, push this way. Yes, I'm going to make a copy of it again and see, just to add more strength to it. So the new copy, I'm just going to take out some parts that I don't want visible. Alright, so I'm just going to just going to take out some part I don't want visible, just like that. Alright, yep. So I'm going to create a new layer now. I'll hold down Alt and click. So I'll change this to overlay, fill, and I'll say burn. I hit OK, burn to, and I'll just add more depth. I have to reduce the shadow just a little bit. It's kind of strong. The shadow effect is too strong, so I have to just reduce it just a little bit. Yep. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to zoom out now and see what it looks like. Wow, this is beautiful. Then the next thing I'm going to do is Instagram like icon in Illustrator. So I'm taking you guys to Illustrator now to do that. Okay, I almost forgot. So before I take you guys to Illustrator, we need to first of all save the image. So to render it, I'm going to go to File and select Save As, and I'll choose I'm going to take you guys to the location where I have the exercise files. Alright, so I'm there, so I'm going to hit JPEG and I'll hit save, hit OK, and yeah, so I'm gonna open Illustrator now. I already have it open. Then I have the like icon. What I'm going to do now is I am going to bring in the image now, but before I bring in the image, I want you guys to know that the size of this frame is the size of the document that we're working on in Photoshop. So I'm going to bring in the image now by going to File, and I'm going to select Place. And yeah, so I'm going to open the folder where I have the picture, which is this. So I'm going to hit Place. Alright, then I'm going to drag like so and release. Then this should be above this. Alright, and I'm going to lock the layer of the artwork, and I'm going to hit Delete on my keyboard just like so, and I'm going to hit Shift and push, drag this down to reduce the size. I'll position it here. Actually what I'm trying to do is I want it to look as if the baby is looking at the like icon. Alright, so I'm gonna just position this here just like so. Yeah, just a little bit. Position this here. So I'm gonna be using this shade of red. Alright, so you can copy the code. So it's EF0F44. So I'm gonna hit OK, and for the stroke I'm going to double click again, or just come here and double click, and I'll paste it. So I'm using the same color that I use for the fill. Now hit OK. Okay, now we're going to convert this to 3D. So I'm going to go to Effects, 3D, and then Extrude and Bevel. So this should come up here. So I'm going to convert. I'm going to make this 20. No, 20. Let's preview it. So nice. So this is, sorry, this is the face which is here of this object, the object. So these are the sides. These are like the extrude of the object. Alright, so I'm gonna face this up now because I actually want this to face up. I am going to move it like so and just rotate it like so. Okay, and let's preview it. Nice, it's making sense. So but it's too much, so I'm going to just move this down. Okay, it's looking beautiful. So we need to change the light, the direction of the light. So I'm just gonna click this to move this down, and let's see what it's gonna look like if I position it here. Position it here. Okay, I think I like it like this, or better still, let's just, good, I think it's fine this way. Then yeah, I'm going to hit OK now. Okay, and this is what we have. So I have to expand this. So to do that, I'll go to Objects, Expand Appearance, then Object, Expand Appearance again. So I'm going to hit Command or Control Copy on my keyboard, Control C on my keyboard, and I'll go to Photoshop and hit Control V or Command V to paste it. So sorry, so I'm going to paste it with Control V. Alright, so it's going to ask me this question, and I'll say make it a smart object for me, and I'll hit OK, and something is going to pop up on the screen after I hit OK, but just keep watching. So I'm gonna shift drag this down. So I'm trying to follow the direction of the baby's eye, so it's like it's looking at this side of the border, so I'm going to just set this like so, and I'm going to hit enter. So something's going to pop up now, but I'm going to say stop. Alright, so this is it, and I'm just collapse this. Then this is it. So I'm going to move this above the layer of the baby. So I'm going to just shift select this and shift select this and put them in a group, and I'm going to call this baby plus shadow. Alright, so I need to zoom in, so space bar, and I'm going to space bar position this here. So now the idea now is to make it look like this is actually inside the water. So I'm going to add a vector max now, and I'm going to select brush, and I'm going to select the hard brush, and I'll reduce the size of my brush. On the water, so I am going to put this as 3D objects. Alright, yeah, so I'm going to create a new layer now, and because I need to have the heart icon with 1. So to do that, I am going to create a new layer by going to layer, new, and hit create. Now I am going to create a new layer, and I'll fill this with black. Then I'll go to the shape tool, select the custom shape tool, bring this out, and I'm going to drag this just like so. Alright, and I'm going to change the color to white, and I'm going to enter 1. I'm doing it again, so I'm going to hit Command or Control E to mesh the 2 layers together. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my Macro selection, drag, create a Macro selection to on the screen, and hit, I'm zooming in with Control minus, so I'll hit Control X to cut it, and I'll go to my projects, and yeah, so this is it. Then I'm about to cheat Photoshop now, so I'm going to create a new layer, and I'll call this layer vanishing point. Alright, so I'm going to create just a tiny point somewhere, just a tiny point somewhere on the artboard. Now somebody will say, hey Caesar, why do you have to do that? Now if you don't do this, the effect I'm about to do now is not going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to hide it somewhere here. It's not really necessary. I'm going to hide it outside my artboard, and then I'll go to filter and I'll select vanishing points, and now I am going to click on this tool, and I'll draw this. Oh, sorry, there's a mistake, so I have to start again. So I have to follow the path of the 3D shape. So just because if this is not perfect, our shape is not going to stay well on it. So just have to follow the shape of the 3D, and I'll position just like so. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this, and I'll hit Command V or Control V to paste the shapes that I drew. So when you hit Command V, you need to zoom out because most time they're always at the top here. All right, so I'm gonna zoom out. So this is it here. So I'm going to just drag till I get to this point, like so. Now you see it's inside the shape that I drew, but I need to move this out. All right, and I'm going to zoom in because we need to scale it, and I'm going to move this down, and I'll go to the transform tool right here, and I'm going to scale this just like so. All right, so I'm going to move it. Okay, now it's time for us to rotate it, so I'm going to rotate, and I'll drag this in. All right, then I'll scale it again, drag, scale, and drag till you get to the point where you're satisfied with it. So I'm going to drag again and drag. So I think I'm fine, so I'm going to just rotate it just a little bit. Yeah, so now I'm going to just leave it like this, and I'll hit OK. Bam. Now you see it's right at the spot where we want it. So now I'm going to hit Control and click to create a marquee of that shape, and I'll change my color to yellow, and I'll create a new layer, and I'll call this glow. All right, then I'll fill it with the glow, and this time I'm going to go to filter, blur, and I'll select Gaussian blur. I'll scale it, move it up. Okay, now this 3D object should be above all the layers, so I'll call this 3D object, and now this should be above the layers, and I'll zoom out. Yeah, it's beginning to make sense now. And now I need to do some little work on the baby's skin, so I'm going to hit Control plus, and I'll zoom, and I'll drag my screen and create a new layer. So I'm going to click on this and call this bone. Now call this overlay. Check the fill with overlay neutral color box, and I'll select the bone tool. Alright, then I'll start brushing. Now notice when I'm trying to brush, it's going out of the baby's skin, so I have to create a marquee of the baby. So I'll hold on Control and click on the thumbnail of the baby's layer, and I'm gonna hit Command H to add the marquee so as to be able to see what I'm doing. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to create a new layer below the layer of the baby, and I'm going to zoom out, and this time I am going to select brush. Now this time it has to be sovereign brush. Okay, so we're trying to create the sun effect behind the baby, so I'm going to make this real big like so, and I'll hit screen. I'm gonna click, sorry, and yeah, you see the reason why it's not I'm not getting any result is because I still have that marquee selection around the baby. So I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z to go back to undo, and I am going to hit the Command H. Can you see the marquee now? I'm gonna hit Command D to deselect, and when I click now, you see I have the sun, I have the brush effect behind the baby, and I'm gonna scale it just a little bit big, and I'll hit screen, or let's say screen. Yep, I'm gonna screen it, and I'm gonna make it just a little big. Let's make it big. Alright, and I'll make a new layer again, I'm still going to call this sun, and I'm going to switch to something lighter yellow, just like this. I need to move this in so you guys can see what I'm doing, and brush, and this time I'm just going to click somewhere here and hit screen again. Alright, now you see we're beginning to have that sun look. Alright, and maybe I should just make this a little more yellowish, so I'm going to just hit Command L or Control L and darken it. Alright, just like so. Now hit OK. Alright, so I can make a new copy, another copy of it again, but this time I'll make this overlay. Alright, and I'll put this down and I'll scale it down because it's looking too big. So I'm going to just scale this down just like so. Now zoom in. Alright, then yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add light effect around the baby. So I'm going to just zoom in. Alright, I'm going to zoom in again and move this down, make a new layer. Alright, create a marquee selection around the baby again and reduce the size, and I'll call this light FX. Alright, then I am going to make this a little bit lighter. Alright, so I'm just going to brush. Now you see I have that marquee selection around my image. I don't want it, so I'm going to hit Command H like we did previously. So I'm going to reduce the size of this just like so. Just going to brush. Don't go too much inside so as to not make the brush effect too strong on the baby. Alright, so I'm going to change it to screen. Screen. I think I just adjust a little bit of light here. Zoom out. Yeah, excellent. Now it's time for us to start blending the colors. So first I'm going to first add a little bit of red to the baby's skin. So I'm going to go to color balance, and you see I'm supposed to hit Ctrl D to remove the marquee selection around the baby. So I'm just going to come here now again, and I'll use color balance, and then click on this icon, and on the mid-tone I'm going to add just a little bit of red, just like that. Then on the shadow I'll add a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow, like so. Mid-tone I think it's kind of too much. Alright, now let's start blending the colors. So I'm going to collapse this, and now I'm going to select the adjustment icon, and I'll select color lookup. Alright, so on the color lookup I'm going to use, okay, so let's choose fallout color. Excellent. And what I'm going to do to this now, I'm going to position this behind the baby, yeah, just like so, and I'm going to reduce the opacity just a little bit, just like so, and I'm going to select the gradient tool now, and we'll just, because actually I don't want it to touch the clouds, so I'm just going to push this down to about this point. I like the effect of the sun on the water, okay, so I'm going to just leave it like that, and I'm going to go back again and bring in another color adjustment. So I'm going to select this and then say, color lookup, not color adjustment. So for this one, I'm just gonna select soft warm. Yeah, so let's see what's gonna look like if I put it above the baby's layer. No, it's affecting it. So I'm just gonna put it back, and this time I'm just going to do from bottom up. All right, like that. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. Again, we're almost getting to the end of this tutorial, so I'm just going to click on this icon, new layer icon, and I'll call this burn. Okay, and this should be overlay. Fill it and then hit OK, and this should be behind the 3D layer. Okay, and I am going to select the burn tool, and I'll just brush to create a vignette effect. All right, just like so. Okay, and I'll do the same thing right here. Do something right here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see what's going to look like if I put this here. I think I have to leave it there, and I am going to create a screenshot of my artwork. All right, so I'm going to hit Control Shift Alt and E. All right, and I'll go to filter and I'll select camera raw filter. All right, so we have this. All right, so we have this now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to reduce the exposure just a little bit. This is beginning to make sense to me. So let's add more noise. Let's give it life by adding more noise to give it that real movie poster feel. So I'm going to create a new layer now, and I am going to change this to this shade of gray, and I'm going to hit Alt backspace. All right, just like so. So I'm going to just hit D, and I'm gonna do it again. Just change this to this color just in case something else happen. All right, so I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm going to go to filter, noise, and I'll say add noise. All right, so I'm going to increase the amount of noise just like so. All right, I'm gonna hit OK, and I'll hit Control Shift and U to convert this to black and white, and I'm gonna go to the blend mode now and select soft lights. Now it's too strong on my image, so I'm going to reduce it just a little bit. And I have this, so this is the before and this is the after. So I am going to put it to about this point, and now I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop the video, and by the time I come back I would have added my movie poster info. So okay, so I have my text now on my screen, but I'm just going to tell you the name of the font that I use here. So for this font here, starting from the top, Futura for this, all right, and I use Helvetica. Remember this, Helvetica new, and for this one here I googled this. All right, so I got this from the internet, the same. Yeah, I got this from the internet, and then I use a vertical here also. And for the last thing I forgot to add the birds, so I'm just going to add the birds now. All right, so I'm going to drag this and drop like so. So this should be here like that, and I'll make a copy, and I'm going to put this somewhere here, and yeah, that's it. So I want to thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Peace out.